In trading, knowledge is power, and lack of knowledge in what you're doing can be costly, very costly. So you need a solid foundation of quality market education. Whether you're new to trading or a seasoned veteran looking to add advanced strategies to your arsenal, there's always something to learn and something to improve on. And now you can access the same knowledge that professional traders receive with Market Rebellion's Trading Education. I'm Bill Johnson, Head of Options Education here at Market Rebellion, and we've assembled a comprehensive curriculum based on decades of real trading experience, covering everything you need to know about trading options from beginner to advanced. We go way beyond the nuts and bolts of options theory to teach you how to apply specific trading strategies and the techniques needed to adapt your trades when markets shift. Regardless of your goals, you'll gain access to the education you need with easy-to-consume lessons so you can learn to trade with confidence, enhance your knowledge, and master the practical skills required for market success. So please join us for in-depth trading education only from Market Rebellion.
Good afternoon, once again, Market Rebels, and it looks like we are off to another rockin' start, at least for our tech stocks this morning here, Stu, in the pre-market. But anyway,
which we are recording prior to when you guys are seeing this, so we're way ahead of you guys.
One of the few times we have to record it early, but it's going to be a very cool topic, like they all are. But this one came to us actually in a Q&A session recently, and we thought it was important to get out to the retail clients out there, the YouTubers, because it is a super common question, super big area of I don't understand why this is working this way, but it's actually quite easy when you understand what's happening in the markets. And so it's something that I think is going to appeal to everybody, especially if you have ever traded vertical spreads. So what's the topic? Here we go. Here's our setup for our Chalk Talk question. All right, so Stu, you buy a 100-105 call spread. So far, so good. And at some point, the stock rises to 105. Now, as we'll explain in a little bit, at 105 or above is the most that spread could ever be worth. So the question is, because the stock is 105, are we at the $5 maximum value of that spread?
We're higher, which was the question that we got in TOA.
Correct.
Q&A.
It could be at 106. Yeah. People would say, why is it not worth 5?
Yeah.
I don't get it. That's the maximum value. The stock is there. Why is the market only pricing it at 3?
And the options in the example that was thrown out of this in the Q&A, they were actually like real far in the money. It wasn't just 105. It was way in the money.
Yeah, it was like 100 vol stock. I mean, it was something crazy out till September. You're going to find out at the end of this presentation why that seems like a big paradox, but then why it makes perfect sense.
Perfect sense. As does all this when you get it.
Put the little pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah.
So here's our topic: vertical spread. Where's my money? That's kind of how a lot of the traders phrase it. They go, how come in this example I've got a $5 spread? Why is it not worth 5? Where's my money? The market's only bidding 3.
Bill, did you pull that line from our Q&A? Because that was exactly what the question was. Where's my money?
we hear that a lot.
In fact, it was followed up with, where's my money? Am I doing the math wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we hear it a lot. And the people are forgiven for it. It's a very apparently complicated thing. It's a big puzzle until you understand what's happening with the spread.
Right.
And that's what we're here to talk about. So to set the stage here, let's do our usual background about vertical spreads. We've done this many times before. But let's say that you buy the $100 call and it's trading for $350. So you would have to spend $350 to buy that call. And you say, well, I don't know if I want to put that much into it. Let me sell off the 105 call that is trading for $1.50. So we would get a credit, right, of $1.50. What's the net between those? $2. So in the business, we would say that you are long the 100, 105 vertical spread. That's just both strikes, or that you have purchased the 100, 105 vertical for a net debit of 2. And
It's
again,
also,
that's just
but it's also throw in the line about I'm going to sell the 105 call to ready
hedge theta
reduce
or
my
reduce my
cost
cost basis or
basis
hedge theta. All you're doing is
or hedge
partitioning.
data. Yeah, that's another
You're
one.
just partitioning the bell curve. That's it. Doesn't make it bad, but it doesn't mean that you have some kind of a magical edge because you're only paying $2 to own the $100 call instead of $350. That's not quite right. You do own the 100 call, but you also sold off everything above 105. When you bought the $100 call, you owned everything above 105, actually everything above 100, but also above 105, but you've sold that off. So that right there is a whole nother potential discussion just about the illusions that people have.
Bill,
So
let me tell you this quickie here.
sure,
I read I waste time actually on this site called Quora,
Quora, yeah,
Quora.
Quora.
And every now and then they have a options question that comes
Mm.
through. So the
Mm-hmm.
question was something like, what happens when I exercise my call? I don't really get how I can buy stock at the price that's lower than
The market,
stock, yeah, the market, right? And isn't the other guy losing money? And the guy that answered it, which I found really interesting, called himself a long time options trader and financial professional. That was
mm-hmm.
his title on Quora. And he said, well, that's right. You get to buy the stock cheaper. So you get your 7 points, and the guy that sold it to you loses out on the $7. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah,
And I'm
it's
thinking to myself, this is what people are seeing and reading and hearing,
right.
and it's mind-boggling
Yeah,
to say the least
lots of,
this is out there and people take it for gospel. Like
that's
what
right.
like here it's like where and it's not their fault, right? The
It's
question that was
correct.
posed to us is it's not the trader's fault. It's not it's just prevalent
Correct.
this nonsense that's
Yep.
out there. And that's our goal, Bill, isn't it? Right? To
Yep.
just try and
Get rid of the
fix the
noise.
world.
Right.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you don't know, you can't be faulted for not knowing it. But the problem is, like Stu said, there's so much bad information, even among people who should know better.
Who
So,
absolutely should know better. Yeah.
right. So here we have our net
Or
debit.
even better, purport to know better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in this case, we have a net debit of 2. Again, that's just the difference between these cash flows. So our maximum loss, which is true in most financial assets, is the amount that you paid. So
Mhm.
no matter what happened, that's the worst. You could lose 2.
Unless
The
you do
maximum
something,
gain,
unless you do something really dumb.
assuming we don't break it apart,
The
that's
golf
good.
course story, remember that?
That's a good footnote. Yes, that's a good footnote. But we're assuming the spread stays intact.
We are.
So the maximum gain is 3. Now, where is that coming from? Well, let's go back to rights and obligations. We have the right to pay 100 and the obligation to sell for 105. So if you buy stock for 100 and sell it for 105, that's $5. So now we can see why you're selling this off, even if the stock is 200.
Let's repeat
That's
that. This is a sticking point. In my sessions, people really stutter when I throw that out there.
right.
You have the right to buy stock at 100 and you have an obligation to sell it at 105.
Right.
And the question becomes, what's the difference? And it's like,
Right.
come
Can't
on,
figure it out.
right? 100 and 105. Buy it at 100, sell it at 105. And I guess the difference is like, look, you have a right. People think they buy it. They're not actually buying it. They have the right to buy it, but it's still
Correct.
$100, right? I
That
mean,
you would have to pay.
$100 is $100 is $100, and 105 is your obligation. So whether you actually sell it via your obligation or you have that obligation, it's still a 105. So it's still a $5 difference, no matter how
And
you.
that's where the idea of selling off the tail becomes prevalent. Say that the stock is 200. Hey, I get the right to pay 100 for it. Correct. But you still have to sell it for 105, which is 5 points. So the most this spread could ever be worth is the difference in strikes. So in this case, 5, but if you paid 2, the maximum gain is 3. So here's our risk graph. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is where a lot of the problems start. People see their risk graphs in websites and on books and whatnot. Most of the time, they're like this. This is what's called an expiration graph. We'll explain more about that in a moment. But when people talk about a risk graph or a profit and loss diagram, this is the only one that they usually see. So we've got our bend at 100. That's one of the strikes. We have a bend at 105. That will be true always. Whenever you have an options risk graph, you will create bends, hedges, at these strikes. So over here, we can see that a maximum loss right there is 2. And the maximum gain over here lines up at 3. Now, another little check you can do is to add these two together. Forget about the minus sign. And it should add up to the difference in strikes if you did your math right. So we can see that it's a $5 difference. 3 and 2 is 5. So that's where we're just partitioning that 5-point move. Now, here's where things start to get tricky. People look at this graph and they say, okay, how do I read it? If the stock is 95, trace a line to our graph, I'm going to lose 2. If the stock is 85, find 85, trace a line down, I will lose 2. If the stock is 115, trace a line up, I make 3. So that it shows you all of the values, your profits and losses. I can see here at 102, I break even. So that's where we cross 0. So it shows us all of the possibilities at expiration. That is the key phrase right there. But here's the way that traders see it. They go, well, the stock is 95, maybe at some point, maybe even when I bought it. And then one day it goes to 105 and they say, look at this. The way that Bill and Stu taught me to read this graph, if the stock is 105, it's worth 3.
Yeah.
And the market's only showing that it's worth it's worth 5. Yeah. They're saying the spread should be worth 5, and therefore my profit should be 3. But right now they're only bidding 3 for the spread. I would only make $1.
Yeah, 3, 3 1/4, 3
Why am I not getting the full $5 value in the risk graph? Let me check my math. $5 difference. Yes, it's 5. I should be able to close it right now for a $3 gain, and I can't. What is wrong? That's the question that we want to address. So what it is, it's a good question, but there's one missing step here. So before we do it, quick little reminder for everybody who might not be part of our Lunch Crunch Q&A. We do it every Tuesday, Thursday. Shoot that QR code. You can join us for topics just like this. We have beginner, intermediate. Beginner on Tuesday, intermediate, advanced on Thursday. And but we have a great group, lots of great questions, sometimes breakout topics on subjects just like this. So what's causing this apparent puzzle? And here's the answer. There are really 2 risk curves, Stu. 2 of them, even though the books show you 1 most of the time, right? They're showing you the expiration graph. So the thing to remember is that every strategy has 2. Actually, they got an infinite number.
Yeah.
But at any point in time, there are 2.
Any snapshot in time.
Any snapshot in time, there are 2. There is the expiration curve that we just saw.
Mm-hmm.
However, the one that you normally don't see is a current curve, sometimes called today's curve. Some people call it the now curve. There's a lot of different things, but it just means, what does my risk graph look like now?
Interestingly enough, on Thinkorswim, that's the default right there. They give you the
exactly
curve and they give you the today curve right now.
Because that's really what a professional trader wants to know, not what it's going to be in 30 days.
I know what it's going to be in 30 days.
Exactly right. That's easy to figure out. Options are either intrinsic or 0. That's easy to figure out. We want to know what it's worth today.
Yeah.
So if we have a platform, Stu mentioned Thinkorswim, or kind of a sister platform, I guess you could say, would be Tasty Trade.
Yeah.
uh, will show you this. The better platforms will. So they might show you a risk graph that looks like this. So this is the same graph that we just saw in black, the expiration curve, but the current curve is in blue. And notice it's not these hard elbows and straight lines. It is curved. That's a way that you can visually tell if you're looking at an expiration graph, or at least super, super close, because they have perfectly straight lines and then hard elbows or bends in them
at the strike.
If you're at expiration, but prior,
Right,
we get, like in this case, kind of a lazy S. So what are we looking at here? We read it exactly the same way. So back to our puzzled trader here, the stock is 105. The trader was saying, well, I should have a $3 profit. Nope, you're looking at the expiration graph. That might be 30 or 60 days away.
Or 90.
Or 90 or 100. It depends on the spread. But the thing that you should be looking at is this one. We read it the same way. Stock is 105. Don't go up here. Go right there. So it says that your profit is $1.
Right. So you paid 2. It's now trading at 3, and
the spread is now worth 3. It's not worth 5. And that's because you're not at expiration. We'll explain why that's important in just a second.
Here's the next level of thinking. Bill and I do this a lot. Don't stop at level 1. Go to the second and keep asking the questions. Just keep asking. Keep on. So you look at something like this and you ask yourself, okay, what has to happen in order for me to get that $5 number?
Yep.
And you could deduce from this picture right here, which is really what it is. It's just a picture that either the stock has to there you go, right? Either it's got to travel a pretty far way, right, where the two will meet. The risk graph is telling you that. You just have to listen to it.
Yeah.
And or time has to go by, and that's the expiration, right? That's what we keep talking about.
You have to move to the black. How do you move to the black? Time,
right? So what's the real answer here, Bill? It's really both, isn't it? I mean,
there's two. In most cases, it's a combination.
Yeah,
it's that the stock is moving up. We'll do some movements through time here in a second. Yeah. But the thing to understand is that as time passes, this blue curve starts to slowly mold itself into the black. This left side has to start moving down. The right side obviously has to start moving up.
Because what happens at the end of the day, everyone? There's zero extrinsic value. One of the few things that are known in the marketplace.
That's right.
And that means the options are either in the money or out of the money. And we know that if they're out of the money, they're zero. And if they're in the money, it's just a cash value. It's just how much are they in the money.
But in both cases, extrinsic value is zero.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, both, exactly. So what's going to happen as time goes by? When I shot this is from a pricing model, by the way. It's not made up. That's with 30 days to expiration. So let's say that maybe 10 days goes by. Well, now that blue line becomes the gray line. You can see it's starting to take more of a shape of the black. So visually, just think of it, if this were, I don't know, kind of a piece of wire, and you were trying to mold it into this black, what would you have to do? You'd have to push this up into the black, and on this side, you would have to push down. That's what it's doing. So now maybe another 10 days goes by, and we do this. The gray now becomes the yellow.
Let's remind the people at this point that we are isolating time.
Correct.
We're not really talking about any movement yet.
Nope. The stock is sitting this, right.
We're just saying all else being equal, the stock is sitting at whatever price it's sitting at, and time is going by. And this is what's happening.
We're moving time. We have some more time go by and some more. And you can see now that green is starting to look a lot more like the black, but we still have what? Curves.
A little bit of time.
That's a dead giveaway that we're not quite at expiration. Now, if we were seconds away, it might be really hard to tell from the black, but you get the idea that we're just looking at the curve. Now, as Stu brought up, if you were at 105 today on the green curve, you don't have a $3 profit, but you might have 210 or 220. But if the stock were at 110, you'd be closer to 3. But notice when we had 30 days to have that same amount, you'd need that stock at 125.
Yeah.
You'd have to be much deeper in the money.
Now look at that. Just kind of look at these numbers, right? From 100 to 125. That's a 25% move.
That's big.
What vol did you run this at? This is kind of a low vol.
This is 20 vol.
20 vol. Yeah. See, like you start pumping all kinds of crazy vol into it,
yeah.
and big giant $800, $900 stock price numbers. You need this is a 25% move, right? A 25% move on $1,000 stock
is zero.
$250, and you're getting $100 move, and you're thinking like, "Where's my money?" Well,
right.
Sorry,
your risk curve here in blue might look like this. It's going to just be squashed, and a week later, not going to move unless you take it out to 4 or 5 decimals. It's going to be a slow move. But the reason that this is happening, let's get into now some of the math behind it, or maybe more of the philosophy behind it. Why does it move this way? Why does it move quickly in some cases and not in others? So here's an analogy that Stu and I use a lot for our Q&A classes. So Stu, let's say that we have a football game coming up. It's Kansas City and, of course, my team, Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay, we're going to say, is favored. You don't see that too often, but we're going to assume that they are favored by 7 points. So Stu and I are going to bet $100. I'm going to take Tampa Bay. Stu's going to take Kansas City. So here we are. At the first quarter, the score is 10-0. So I turn to Stu and I say, Stu, fork it over, man. You owe me $100. And Stu says, why? And I say, well, dude, you're not getting it. I'm winning. My option in options terms is in the money. It's at the spread is at maximum value. In other words, it's winning. And Stu says, hold on, time out. What's your reply? Stu?
Sorry, I have my audio off. So my reply
what's your reply? I say you owe me $100.
Not so fast, dude.
But why?
Because we have 3 quarters left, man.
That's exactly. We're not at expiration yet.
Yeah.
That's the missing point that people overlook. The spread was, in my example, was for 30 days from now. If the stock is 105 or above, it's worth 5 or a $3 profit. Not 30 days prior. But now let's have some fun with this. Let's carry this some analogy further and understand what's happening in the options market.
Bill, how many dollars did we bet on this?
$100.
$100. Okay, got it.
So now let's say that it's a real-time betting market, which a lot of times do, just a lot of places do. But just like in the options market, we can trade these things.
I was going to say, with the options market, it's a real-time betting
It's
market.
real time. So now let's say that I turn to Stu and I say, you know what? I don't know if I want to even have this much at risk. Stu says, yeah, it's not. I don't know if I do either. I'll let you out of the bet. Give me $99. Stu's going to say, wait a minute.
Nah.
That's almost full value. We got a lot of time. That you're making it sound like you're basically guaranteed to win.
Here's what I really say, Bill. You'll crack up at this. Hey, dude, I'm a seller at 95.
Exactly.
Right. You could be 99 all day long. You're out of the market, bro.
That's the way the traders see it. You go, you're just not going to be competitive there.
Yeah.
So now the point that you should see is that it's not real clear who's going to win, even though I'm in the money, so to speak. It's exactly why your spread is not trading to the full $5 value. Now let's go to the second quarter.
Yeah.
It's now 21-3.
So
now I had a 10-point spread.
Yeah.
Now I've got an 18-point spread. But we also have less time.
We do.
So should you be more confident that I'm going to win the bet or less? A little bit more. The spread has gotten bigger with less time.
And everyone, this is the stock. This is a call spread, I'm assuming, Bill?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the stock moving higher.
above
The
above the
calls
strike.
are becoming in the money, more in the
Right.
money. That's what's going. We're moving down the bell curve.
Right. So think of it this way. In the options market, we say, is the stock greater than the strike? In football, we say, is my team greater than the opponent's? So you can think of this as a moving strike, but it's the same game. It's just that that strike or the opponent's score, most likely, is not going to stay fixed, but it's the same idea. Now we get to the third quarter and it's 35-20. Now here's where things get interesting.
Yeah.
It's now a 15-point spread,
Which is less than
which is less than 18, but we have even less time. Now Stu might say, you know what? It's not impossible, but I'm feeling like I'm going to lose. I'm feeling like it could turn around, right? What was the Phillies game from the Super Bowl? What were they down, Stu?
the Eagles, they were when they came back, you mean?
Your birds, your Phillies.
The which one? The Phillies?
The Eagles, yeah.
The Eagles. Yeah, the Eagles were they blew them out, right? It was a 1.5 point.
Yeah, but they were the underdogs by
they were the dogs,
and they were complete blowout.
Total blowout. Yeah.
So now it's not that we haven't seen that in football. Stu's saying, yeah, there's still a lot of time in football standards. That's not impossible. So it's not worth
quarter left. Yeah, 15
it's
minutes.
not worth 100.
No,
it's not worth 100. That would be true if we were at this moment in time. So you can see we're now moving to the expiration graph. But right now, Stu might say, you know what? I'll give you, now the bidding's on. I'll give you 75. I'll do 80. How about 77? Who knows where it ends up?
Right.
That's what a market is.
Now, I know where Bill's going with this. He hasn't shown me this, but I know exactly where he's going. Now, think to yourself, before he shows you this next line.
Yeah, I knew you knew where this is going.
Think to yourself, what would you pay or where would you let the other guy out if the score were bigger, a lot bigger than what he's showing there, or be the other side?
Right.
Really tight.
Exactly.
Really tight.
It was a good thought experiment. Let's say it was 40-0. Yeah, now Stu might give me 99 for it. Why would he not give me 100? Even though it might be a close to zero probability, you might as well wait it out.
Cat on a tank, man.
Yeah, cat on a tank. You might as well wait it out. But he might say, you know what? To save a buck or two, because it's probably going to end up being a $100 loss, I'll get out now. That is exactly what the options market is doing for exactly the same reasons. So now, let's do this. Fourth quarter, final score, 35-34. Now it's only a 1-point spread, but what's the value of the bet? 100. See, now you might say, well, wait a minute. It's only a 1-point spread here. Why is Stu willing to pay, or why is he forced to pay 100 when there was a 10-point spread here and he wasn't really willing to pay a whole lot? I don't understand. That's the question that people have when they look at those spreads. They're saying, I've still got 30 days. Why is it not worth maximum value? Because the crowd is saying, it's not over. I'm not going to settle this bet for full value when there's still time on the clock.
What do you got over there? Tampa Bay -7. So Tampa Bay was giving away 7 points to Kansas.
Was giving away 7 points. So now, and actually I take that back. You're right, Stu. I didn't even talk about this. So now it's in terms of the score. Actually, it's a good analogy. In terms of the bet is worth 100, right? Or I'm sorry, we should say that Tampa Bay won. But what does my P&L look like? Well, -100. Why? Because I didn't beat the extrinsic value.
Well, hold on.
I've got a loss.
Tampa Bay was giving Kansas City
7 points. That's the favored team. Right. So they're saying, even though this is when traders go, well, the stock went up, how come my call lost money? Yeah. That's exactly why. I could say, hey, hold on a second, Stu. I bet that Tampa was going to win. They won. Look at the scoreboard. What are you missing? And Stu's going to say, yeah, but you gave me 7
You're missing the premium that you paid.
You're missing the premium that you paid.
And you didn't beat it. Yeah.
Right. So
You didn't
this,
get enough of a range to beat
right.
it.
I paid $7 for this $100 call. The stock's at 105. How come I'm not profitable? The stock went up. Correct. But you didn't account for the premium that you paid.
Yeah.
It is exactly, that's why we use this analogy a lot, and that will explain everything with the spread. So, like Stu said, it's a good little exercise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine if it were 21 all here, or 35-34 in the third quarter, or 35-34 in the first quarter. Value of the bet's probably not going to move much, right?
Yeah. How
Even
about
though,
like, that's right. How about if it's 35-35 at the end of the third quarter? Is that really any different than 0-0 in the beginning?
exactly, right. We're just
It's
going to
kind of
face faster resolution, right?
now there's some other things that may play into that, like who got injured and who's got the
And
ball
that's
and
the news in the market.
timeouts and
That's
all that kind of and
that's news in the markets.
that's
Correct.
news in the market. Exactly. That's where I was going. It's news in the market. That's information that may be known or who's going to get injured, not known,
Right. So we
right?
might
Or
not see a big change in the bet here or a little bit, but suddenly this team's quarterback gets carried out on a stretcher. What happens? Now it goes from saying I'll settle it for 70 to 85 or 90. They're going, it's just not looking good. But that's what happens in the market. It responds to news.
yeah,
So
like
think of
today, like Intel today, I know this is pre-recorded. Intel today, the government announced that they're going to do something with Intel and chips, and they got this partnership going on. So
right
Intel's up, 8-9%. Um, how come? It's
news.
getting repriced in the marketplace. And the
Yep.
underlying, which yesterday went out at 121.10, which is now trading at 131. So are the options going to change? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Stock's up 9-10 bucks. Of course they're going to change. It's derivative product. They're feeding off the price.
And will those spreads change? Yes, but probably not to full value unless they're very deep in the money.
Depends on what spreads they are. Yeah.
It depends on the 1 day spread.
Like how about today, right? Today's expiration. Well, tomorrow's no, what's today?
Today will be
Thursday, right?
expiration.
Today's expiration. Oh, right. I'm thinking, oh, I'm sorry. I got my days all mixed up. Today, you guys will be seeing this today. So expiration is today, right?
Yep.
So that let's see, that 120.25 spread that was $6. Where's Intel? Intel that was 120.25 spread. That was only the 120s were $1 in the money. They're now $10 in the money.
Yeah.
With 6.5 hours to go.
Yeah. They're
in
going to
the
be priced.
trading day.
There's
not even in an overnight. We used to call it an overnight. It's like how
Right.
many days in an overnight? The overnight means a lot, right? Because
Oh, yeah.
things can happen overnight. So it's just the trading day. You can get a handle on it, right? That spread changes dramatically. The 115, 120 spread will probably go to almost
Almost
parity.
five. Yeah, almost parity.
5. And as the day gets closer, depending on again where that stock is, it will approach 5. So let's ask one more question, then we'll wrap. So how come I can't get 5 for my spread?
Right. So the thing is, I've got one more slide here
with a couple days left.
I've got one more slide here to talk about that idea. Another little thing that you can think of is that the market is trying to form 2 lines, one for in the money, one for out of the money. And as new information arrives, mostly the stock price changing, we're trying to say, all right, yeah, this option I don't think has a chance. I'm going to at least mentally park it as an out of the money. This one over here, I think is definitely going to be in the money. And so let's park it in the monies. But as we start getting closer to at the monies, we're not so sure.
No.
And that's what the market, and if you just think of this very simple mental model, it will help you to understand why your spreads move like this.
So, Bill, could that be a reason why we pay the most extrinsic value at the money?
It's the most uncertainty, carries the most information.
It's the most uncertainty. That's right.
Yep. So let's, with that little overview there, see if you can answer it now. You bought the 100, 105 call spread. Stock is at 105. Stu, it's at the maximum value. But my spread isn't trading for 5. What happened? Is it trading for 5?
No.
How do we answer this?
No.
It depends on
Can
the
be.
time.
Can be, right?
It could
When the
be.
bell is ringing. So look, that's kind of what I was saying before. Is somebody going to pay me five? Like, even if the bell is about to ring, is somebody going to pay me five? If it's a
Right.
day before and the stock is trading at 115, is
Why?
somebody going to pay me five?
Right.
Yeah, the answer is no. Nobody's going to pay you five because the person that's paying you five can't make any money, right?
Correct.
Isn't that the name of the game? Now, they may pay you five if they have the other side and they need to unwind it for whatever reason. Maybe they're getting a
Correct.
tap on the Breakfast Club shoulder. But look, there's no money to be made at five. It's a max value,
Right.
right? And
Or
there are algorithms out there that might pay you 4.95 depending on how much time and the distance is involved to
mhm,
pick up a couple pennies. But look, if you're on the sell side of that, you may have to sacrifice that 5 cents in order to unwind the spread.
correct. Yep. It's just what we talked about with the bet. If I'm going to have to pay you five anyway, I might as well wait. If for no other reason, just keep it in my account longer. But if you're going to give me a discount to let me out, and I realize I'm probably going to owe you five, but you're going to let me out for 4.90, now you understand what's happening in the markets.
Yeah.
So kind of keep those little mental models, and that will help you to understand some of the paradoxes, the apparent paradoxes and puzzles that traders come up to with
Phil,
vertical
maybe,
spreads.
maybe we should throw
And
this one little as well, Diddy. Uh, maybe maybe somebody says to themselves, like, how can I get five? Like, I really want five. I get you're bidding me 490 or 495, but I really want five. How can you get it? You have to go through the expiration. Unless you can find somebody to pay five, which is
right,
doubtful. You're going to have to go through the expiration
go
and
through the
assignment
expression.
process where you will actually exercise your right to pay five, to pay 100, and get assigned at 105. Take the
Right,
assignment at 105 and actually sell the stock at 105, and then you'll get your five.
you're five.
But of course, you got to go
You
through.
got to wait.
You
You
got
got to
to
wait
go
to the
to the end.
very
Yeah.
end of the game. So think about those. That'll help you to understand some of the puzzles with paradoxes. We hope that helps. We'll see you next week on Coach's Corner.